Let's go to Jennifer in Arlington. Jennifer, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hi, Chris. Love the show. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
So I'm Jennifer Korn. I ran George Bush's campaign for Hispanics across the country in 2004 when we got 44% of the Hispanic vote.
Okay.
Compare that to McCain, who got 31, and obviously Romney, who got 27.
Yeah.
There's a problem.
Yeah.
With 50 million Hispanics in this country, the arithmetic is not in our favor. And so my advice to Republicans is you don't have to change your principles. Hispanics are pretty conservative when it comes to issues on the economy, education, faith issues, but it's about engagement. If the Republican Party would engage the Hispanic community like they do with the non-Hispanic community, we would be in a better boat. In 2004, we campaigned for a year in 32 different states and went where Republicans usually don't go, into Hispanic communities, and we talked to them about the issues. It's an engagement problem.
I don't doubt that for a moment. Now, you ran the George W. Bush outreach program to the Latino community nationwide.
Yes, Viva Bush. And we were, like I said, we started over a year out in 32 different states, and you don't have to change your principles. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say, on immigration, that is a sticky issue. And the reason why it's not because Hispanics want amnesty. That's a myth. Hispanics are pretty conservative on this, but it's the way Republicans talk, sort of, the tone and the rhetoric is very harsh.
Now your phone's breaking up.
Oh, no. Can you hear me?
I can, but it's starting to skip out if you're moving around. All right, so immigration, you say that the Latino community doesn't necessarily want amnesty.
No, but it's the way that Republicans talk about it, the tone and the rhetoric. Saying send them all home and all you want is freebies is not the way to talk about it. There are things that we can talk about immigration in a pragmatic way, like, okay, let's secure borders. Hispanics want secure borders. Let's talk about a guest worker program. That's a business-friendly issue. And let's talk about changing the visa system to reflect the needs of the United States. Right now we have something called a diversity lottery. 50,000 people get to come here just because. Why don't we change that and put that into work and family requirements? So there's things that Republicans can talk about on immigration without saying, without being hateful. And I think that the more people like Senator Rubio and former Governor Bush talk about this, the better it is for us. Unfortunately, people like Pete Wilson and Tom St. Prado, it's a visceral reaction with the Hispanic community. In a community, about 50% of Hispanics know someone who's undocumented. It's a personal issue. We talk very important. But besides immigration, you're talking about there's two opportunities in the small business community and the evangelical community for Hispanics. Those are where Hispanics agree with conservatives.
Yeah, I mean, I think that most areas Hispanics agree with conservatives. I mean, you look at the Obama administration and the left and their contempt for Christians and for Catholics in particular, the attacks on the church. You look at, Democrat economic policies and the left's economic policies and success rate, Bill Clinton notwithstanding. After inheriting 12 years of Republican economic policies, sure, things were in pretty good shape. But the Democrats just pander and use fake accents, and which always makes me laugh.
Hispanic community has been hurt the most by this president. We have 10% unemployment, and at times when he was president, 13%. And our poverty rate from when the time he took office is now 3.3 million Hispanics who are in poverty. When my grandparents came here from Mexico, they weren't looking for a handout. They were looking for an opportunity and the American dream. And that is something that conservatives can talk about with Hispanics, but we cannot be afraid to go into those communities. Look at Susana Martinez, governor, the first Latina governor to ever be a governor in the United States, and she's a Republican. And she talks about not ceding any areas and not being afraid to go in and talking to the Hispanic community.
Yeah. Well, and then during the convention, there were lots of Latino, for the Republican convention in Tampa, lots of Latino voices on the stage, including Susana Martinez, and widely ignored, of course, networks that were carrying it live dumped out every time a Latino, or for that matter, a black person came up on stage. Certainly MSNBC dumped out every time, so that's another element in all of this. But you're saying, and I just kind of dislike the idea of even I know it's necessary, but it just kind of makes my skin crawl, that you have separate outreach programs for ethnic and racial groups. I know it's an old political practice, but I still find it to be somewhat offensive. At this point, however, the idea that the president would get 71% of the Latino vote with their obsession with abortion, with their contempt for the Catholic Church, with the anti-family policies that the Democrats have been pushing for decades now, really the Hispanic vote should be in the Republican camp.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing. I don't look at it as pandering or dividing. Until Hispanics are part of the process overall, right now they're only voting at about 50% of their population. 24 million are eligible, about 11 million voted in this last election. Until they're part of the process, we do need to go out and reach out to them. I mean, think of it as a coalition. People, we do sportsman coalition, police for, so-and-so candidate. Why not do a Hispanic coalition and build those coalitions until they are part of the party?
Yeah. Well, and at this stage of our political life in America, I think the Republican Party has absolutely no choice but to do that, given the alacrity with which the Democrat Party cobbles together race-based and ethnic-based coalitions. And this is a tradition that goes way back to the Chicago and Boston machines and Tammany Hall and all that stuff with the Democrats. And Republicans have never been good at it because they kind of make a message that they think is totally inclusive, that applies to everyone, that a rising tide lifts all boats, that what is good for, that group is also good for this group. And that seems to be the idea. However, those days are gone now. It's time to start sucking up along lines of race and ethnicity.
No, it's not sucking up. It's not sucking up. I'm telling you. It's just going into the community and talking to them. We're not changing the message. We're just changing our efforts and where they're going. We're expanding our efforts.
Jennifer, what organization are you with now?
I'm with the Hispanic Leadership Network, and we are based out of D.C., but we're in 9 states. Hispanic
Leadership Network.
Yes.
And you have, obviously, an online presence, a website, Hispanic Leadership Network.
We do. Our Facebook page, Hispanic Leadership Network, or www.hispanicleadershipnetwork.org.
All right. Good deal. Jennifer, and you don't have to give your last name. What's your last name?
Korn.
Korn.
We could have the Korn Plant Show, Plant Korn Show.
All right. There you go. And I've got a friend named Pat Reap. We could have Plant Korn Reap.
Well, wonderful to talk to you.
Thank you,